A large number of Italian immigrants found themselves in the city of New Orleans, settling in a section of the French Quarter that came to be known as Little Sicily. The mayor of New Orleans was a man by the name of Joseph A. Shakespeare. He complained the city was attracting, quote, the worst classes of Europe, Southern Italians and Sicilians, the most vile, vicious, and worthless people among us, that these Italians were, quote, filthy in their persons and homes, and that they were, quote, without courage, honor, truth, pride, religion, or any quality that goes to make a good citizen. On October 15, 1890, New Orleans Police Chief David Hennessy was shot and killed walking home after work. It was reported that as he lay dying, he whispered the word Dagos, a derogatory term for Italians, to police officers who found him. This was then reported in the local newspaper. The mayor reportedly told the police to, quote, scour the whole neighborhood and arrest every Italian you come across. Within 24 hours, at least 45 people were arrested, with accounts as high as 250 being rounded up by the police. Eventually, 19 men were charged with the crime and held without bail. A few days after Hennessy died, the mayor gave a speech where he said Hennessy was, quote, the victim of Sicilian vengeance, and he called for the people of New Orleans to, quote, teach these people a lesson they will not forget. He appointed a committee to investigate, quote, the existence of secret society or bands of oath-bound assassins, and directed them to, quote, devise necessary means and the most effectual and speedy measures for the uprooting and total annihilation. The committee published an open letter to the Italian community in New Orleans, which ended with the following paragraph. We hope this appeal will be met by you in the same spirit in which we issue it, and that this community will not be driven to harsh and stringent methods outside of the law, which may involve the innocent and guilty alike. Upon you and your willingness to give information depends which of these courses shall be pursued. At the trial that followed, a jury found the evidence was insufficient to convict anyone for murder. In fact, 4 of the men were acquitted entirely, with 3 others returned to the judge for mistrial. But all 19 men remained detained, often on charges that would have to be dismissed as a result of the acquittals. A group calling themselves the Committee on Safety put an ad in the local paper that read, quote, rise, people of New Orleans. Alien hands of oath-bound assassins have set the blot of a martyr's blood upon your vaunted civilization. Your laws in the very temple of justice have been bought off, and suborners have caused to be turned loose upon your streets the midnight murderers of David C. Hennessy, in whose premature grave the very majesty of our American law lies buried with his mangled corpse, the corpse of him who in life was the representative, the conservator of your peace and dignity. A crowd, reportedly in the thousands, gathered near the prison where the Italians were being held. A lawyer gave a speech where he told the crowd, quote, set aside the verdict of that infamous jury, every one of whom was a perjurer and a scoundrel. The mob then marched on the prison, shouting, we want the Dagos. As the crowd was beating down the doors of the prison, the warden freed the men and told them to hide as best they could. 11 of the men were found and killed by the mob. 9 of them were shot or clubbed to death inside the prison. 2 others, including a mentally ill man, were taken from the prison and hung from lampposts. History is awkward.